Hello?
Do what?
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 Jay just said you have a vampire den.
Yeah.
Uh,
I said, he said you were waiting on hold, and I said, well, I was just trying to kill airtime talking because I didn't know if you had you had good cell service in your vampire den.
no, I'm in the wrestling school, so I hope it has good cell service. I was in here setting up for the show this weekend.
Nice. Well, hey, so where exactly are you in the world right now?
Where am I in the flipping world? Well, I'm alive. That's a plus.
That's good. You're on the right side of the dirt.
Yeah, because,
Brother,
yeah, but I'm in South Florida, Dania Beach, Florida right now. Yeah. And,
Nice.
But yeah, I'm on the right side of the dirt. I'm up on the air side, breathing oxygen and all cool, man. I survived the 80s, the 90s, the Attitude Era. And you just can't kill a vampire. We're already dead, I guess. We're undead and keep moving. You know?
I was going to say, that's a lot of surviving considering some of the stuff you've seen, man.
Survived teaming with us for almost a year. Somehow you managed that.
You guys were the easiest thing in my life, to be honest.
Really?
You made me look good. And you gave me street credit. Hell, people go, hey, if it wasn't for Gangrel, Christian Edge, and I would go, yeah, right. If it wasn't for Christian Edge, it wouldn't be no Gangrel.
We'll talk about it, but you gave us the street cred.
Yeah.
And in the locker room. That's how that worked. That's how that shook out. But, yeah, so we've had requests out the yin yang, out the butthole to have you on, and I know I've been talking to you about it, but we're making it happen. The reunion of the Brood, which will have to happen at one of these cons one day. But all of us on the phone at the same time. When was the last time this happened?
Never.
On the phone. Okay. So when was the last time? Okay, good point. But
well, the last time we were all together was when we were doing
That's
the
what I'm going
Christian
for.
show. Yeah, it was a couple years ago at WrestleMania when we recorded the stuff with the New Day.
You made sure you killed me off as a Yeti or some shit.
you ended up being the Yeti. Yes.
Yeah.
I have not resurfaced since then.
So now you're back down in Florida, and when we all first met, that's where you were living, was down in Tampa.
Yeah, I was in Tampa. Yeah, so I was born and raised in South Florida, so I'm from like Hollywood Beach, Florida, Deerfield Beach, down in the Fort Lauderdale area. But then when we met, I was living in Tampa. Yeah, up just north of Tampa.
So here's what's crazy, because you truly don't seem to age. Like, you go all the way back to Florida Championship Wrestling.
Right. I broke in 87.
That is fucking nuts, dude. No, I mean, seriously, think about that. Like, and you're still going, and you still have that crispness and that snap and that look in your eye you get whenever somebody stiffs you.
I don't know. You haven't been on YouTube lately, have you?
No.
See some of those matches. You just must have saw me on a good day. So I'm like, no, I don't. I still love wrestling. I think wrestling doesn't necessarily love me, but I still love it and have a passion. So I just motor on, man. I mean, what else am I gonna? I mean, I don't know. I guess there's other things in the world to do, but since I've been 17 years old, really done was wrestling, and then I met Luna when I was 18, and it was like I tell people all the time, it was like the Matrix. I took the wrong pill, went down the wrong rabbit hole, but could come back. When I went down that hole, though, I think that's why I have longevity, because I've seen wrestling for what it really was. Like, even through our whole Brood thing and everything, I saw each step that was coming. I knew it, and I wasn't upset about it or anything. Remember I said, "Oh, we'll go into ministry." I said, "That's the end of the Brood," because eventually we ended up feuding the ministry, and then it was coming. So you just kind of were able to see things for what they were, and anything I ever got in pro wrestling, I considered a bonus and a gift, because I expected nothing from it. It owed me nothing, and wrestling saved my life. I would end up in prison or something like that. Some crazy. I had some kind of crazy destiny, but I'm glad wrestling chose me and it sucked me in, and and I have no regrets, and I still love it. And I'm proud of you guys too, man. You guys keep going, and you found other avenues, and you're still entertaining. I still haven't caught you on Vikings yet, but
we're like the Duracell bunny. We just keep going and going and finding new things, and they keep creating new things for us to do. Like, oh, podcast, yeah, we'll try that. Sketch comedy show, let's try that.
Sure.
But let's we'll get to all the ministry and the brood stuff. But I want to talk about that. Like starting out, you're 17. You say wrestling saved you. So how's all that work? Like, what path do you find yourself going down? You're always a wrestling fan, and you just decide, like, how's this work?
Well, no, not at all, not always. I was somewhat of a wrestling fan, like Florida Championship Wrestling, and I did miss the Garden once a month whenever it showed on USA Network or something, or whatever cable network that was back in the day. But more, I wanted to be, and I don't know if I ever told you guys, I wanted to be a preacher and a football player.
What? Then, no, you did not tell me that.
Yeah. So
that I would remember.
Wow. From what the things you've seen of me or known of me, you wouldn't have known this. And all I wanted to do was be a preacher and play football. But then, I broke my neck playing football. My brother died too, and then I kind of got angry at God and all this other stuff. And then I went a whole other path, and I ended up slinging drugs. I grew up in a really bad, low-income neighborhood. And, you fought pretty much every day. There was no gangs. You kind of fought over streets. The streets were the drug streets, not they weren't blocked, there were streets and stuff like that. So like, when the football went away and I lost faith and stuff like that, I just, I ended up just becoming what you are in your neighborhood. You do or die. You get out there and hustle, So that's, get out there, when you're the only white guy in the neighborhood or the only white family, you take a few butt whippings, you end up getting an attitude after a while,
Yeah.
So then I stumbled across wrestling. I was looking for a better job in the newspaper, and they said, hey, make money on the weekends, beating people up, basically. And I was like, I'm down with that. Anything's got to be better than digging this ditch right now. I'm going to tell you that. So I show up there, and then they tore me to school. It was Boris Malenko giving me the tour, Dean's dad. He's giving me a tour to school. And I'm sizing everybody up. I see a dude with a black guy.
And let's real quickly mention that we're talking Boris Malenko, Dean Malenko, and Jody Malenko. Dean Malenko, and help me out. What was his brother's name? Joe Malenko's dad. Yeah.
Jody or Joe. Yeah.
So, like, when you walked in there, was there anybody else that kind of came out of that when the same time you were there?
Not when I was sizing everybody up. But Norman Smiley was in and out of there. He was already working a little bit, but he would come in and out of there because he was working for like that global company. But Tom Nash, our partner, went on as a black card, but he kind of disappeared after we broke up. Nobody really in that school. But I sized everybody up, the white trash, the whiskey tango. I said, like, I'll take that guy. I'll take that guy. Oh, WT, man. I got that WT flower, white trash. I'm going to go. So I get in there and I size everybody up, and then they go, well, this is how much it is, and then I give them that look. I'm like, wow, I only got like $300. So they talked me out of 300, and I started training, and I was training for like 2 weeks, and then I said, I don't really get this. Like, why am I letting people why am I just letting them do this? Why do I want to fall down? Because in my head I'm still trying to figure this out. Like what the hell? And then Rusty Brooks was one of the other trainers who was very instrumental in keeping me wrestling because of this. He comes up to me and he goes, Dave, I got to ask you. I feel if you think, and I looked at him, it just all hit me, and I go, oh, this shit, damn it. He looked at me, he goes, what's wrong? I go, I want to can I get my money back? And he goes, no. I go, well, I'm not giving you any more money because I quit, and I can't do this. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, you're telling me who wins or loses, that means I ain't getting paid on the freaking weekend, and this ain't happening. I can't do this. I can't give you any more money to do this. And he said, man, you're really good at it. He says, please don't quit. Just I'll put you on the books as a trainer. So when you get done training, just help train. So that's what I did. So I did finish it out. And not even 3 months into my training, I was doing jobs like WWE, getting beat up like the Big Boss Man, doing enhancement matches and stuff like that. So it was all, it was just, that's just how it happened. That's how I fell into it.
And think about that. Like in 3 months, you go from training to working the Big Boss Man. It's such a different environment now. Like that would never happen now.
You're handcuffed to a pole hanging there, and you hear Bobby Heenan go, oh, look, Dave, he's just hanging around,
How cool
even
is
his
that,
even his lamest ones were funny as hell,
Yeah. So you go from there, and because when you first came on my radar, although at the time I didn't know it was you, was in Stampede as one half of the Blackhearts.
Right. Yeah, I was there briefly in Stampede for a while, yeah.
But I got to tell you, man, I remember it. Like, I remember that gimmick. I remember the mask. I remember all of that. Like, and thinking it was super cool.
But now when you look back and think about how bad is the work, these guys.
I didn't think that at the time.
No,
I was like a teenager going, "Whoa, this is cool."
The thing is too, it's like, I was freaked out because it wasn't the regular mask that you wore when you were Blackhearts, right? Like there was no eye holes or mouth holes or nose holes. It was just how did you come up with that idea?
It's just like the black spandex. Well, it was all a rib, So I tagged this guy, Tom Nash. He went to Calgary. He was a big Owen Hart fan. So he went to Calgary, and they called him the Great Nash or whatever with Maka Singh and, Mike Shaw, whatever, and all these guys. So he got in this group, but they ribbed him and beat him up and everything, and he quit. He came home terrified. But he was such a, like a mark and fan for like Owen and Stampede. He wanted to go back, and they said they needed a tag team. So he says, "Oh, do you want to go to Stampede with me?" And I'm like, "Oh, what are we here for?" So we go there, not with any mask or any kind of character, just two dudes, just two average guys. So load the car up in Fort Lauderdale and drive all the way to Stampede, get there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the first day in, it was a ride, and then I came home on a Greyhound bus. But and that was even more of a ride. And then we get there, and Bruce like, "Oh, why don't you come over, Bruce Hart? Come over to the house." And he had this sewing room. He had like a little sewing room, I guess. Andrea, he sewed on the side. He made all those Bad Company bandanas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's kind of creative like that. So he goes, "Oh, hey, why don't you?" He was playing around. He says, "Try this on," and then put it on. He goes, "Can you see through it?" And this was inside. I go, "Oh, barely." He goes, "Hey, let's go outside. Let's go see if you can see in the darker area." So he was basically trying to rib us. And then so he gets down there, and it's outside. He's got a football, and he goes, "All right, put him on." And he goes, "Catch." I go, "I mean, I took it off. I can't do this. I can't see." But my partner was like, yeah, I can see it. And then Bruce was just looking at me, winking. It was just a rib the whole time. And then so he was like slinging the football like at his face, trying to beat him in the face. His hands never once touched the football. His face, his mouth, his chest. He got beat to death. It looked like something out of dodgeball or something. It was like ding, ding, ding. So, but Bruce started thinking, "Oh, well, it looks really cool if you can see." So, like, it started as a rib, and then Bruce thought, "Oh, well, you guys can come back in. We'll wear these masks." So then we kind of just put that character together with the mask and the white mask over the robes. But the whole angle, and a lot of people didn't know this, is what we were is because Bruce is a ribber. Bruce is always causing problems, and, stuff. And I love Bruce and everything, but, he can be crazy. But he wanted us to be the bastard sons of Stu. So basically, Stu was sleeping with ring rats or groupies or fans or whatever you want to call them. And we were the product of that. So we were coming back to claim our spot in the Hart Dynasty. That's why we were the Blackhearts.
The Blackhearts, okay.
Right. Yeah. So we were the Black Sheep. The kids he didn't want to know about. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a tie to the Hart family. That's whoa. Look at that.
Yeah. That's a good little tidbit right there for you. And tidbit was a good word for it to use right there, right?
I don't even know what that means.
It's kind of like a Timbit, only different.
Yeah, don't get too excited.
So where do you go from there? Like after you get the Greyhound for the 3 days it takes you to get back to Florida?
Yeah. So Stampede's going for a lot of ribs, right? So nobody ever physically ribbed me or this and that. The rib on me was like there was never my pay was never there. Like, "Oh, well, we're short on money, but I got $50 for you." Like, about a month in, you're really hungry. I like I said, I had a kid earlier at 15, and turned 16. That was born, and then so I had responsibilities and bills I was trying to pay at home. So things kind of got sold off. She kind of got broke real fast, and everything. And then so I decided to leave Stampede, and then I don't know if you remember Kenny Johnson. He took my spot. So you could have possibly been watching Kenny Johnson and thinking it was me at some point, So
maybe at some point, but I remember at first because I was there for the infancy of the whole thing, so I know I saw you at some point.
I was always the fat Blackheart. That's where you could tell me. That's how I tell. When I start seeing them, there was a few different Blackhearts through time, and I go, I was always the heavier one. Which one's got the titties? That's the only way you can tell it apart sometimes. That character, I had to look. But so from there. I was working with, we met Tokyo Joe, who was in Calgary based, out of Calgary for, Tokyo Joe was New Japan. Mm-hmm. So Tokyo Joe put a word in with Jimmy Suzuki, and then also Luna was we had met at a show, and she was a big fan of the character, so she put a word in with Jimmy. So between Tokyo Joe and Luna talking, they ended up booking us in All Japan. So ended up going to All Japan after Calgary, and also during that process was working for Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, Joe Goodhart's back then. So they were at Philly area, Philadelphia. So they were flying us up from Florida, which I thought was awesome because, you know, I was like first time anybody was flying me anywhere. And the first time I ever got on a plane was in Japan. That was the first time I ever got on a plane.
Really?
Yeah. You know, they all said, oh, it's such a long flight. The flight felt like 5 minutes, knowing I was going over there to get killed by Masada and Kawada, Masawa, Gordy, and Williams, Hanson, and Spivey. These guys were all beasts back then at their prime, like just animals over there. All Japan was at its height. What was it, like 88 when I went, I think? 88? And,
wow.
Yeah, they were animals. They were just savages. I was terrified.
Were you over in Japan by yourself, or did you go over as the team Blackhearts?
We went over as the Blackhearts.
Okay, yeah, because I mean that gimmick too that you were doing, and for anybody that hasn't seen it, they should YouTube it or Google it or something because it was pretty like kind of ahead of its time. But that seemed like it was kind of a perfect match for something that Japanese audiences would love, right? Like just they couldn't see your face and like the screeching and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
the screeching! Oh my gosh! Oh, I forgot about the screeching.
Yeah. With the symbol of something we shouldn't be worshiping or saying out loud on a TV show or anything. Nobody ever caught the hand gestures either. But when WWF hired me and I did the vampire promos and I put the hand gesture down the other way towards my crotch, and they were like, "Hey, does that mean what I think it means?" I go, "No, it's the Blackheart thing. I just turned it around, you know." Yeah, I don't know what kind of this is a PG podcast, so I didn't want to.
No, we're all over the place. Jay's swearing every second.
Well, it was pretty much a female part we were worshiping, and people didn't get that joke. So that was another rib out of Calgary. We worshiped the woman's vagina.
Don't we all?
It's a downfall of us good ones, I'll tell you that. But yeah, no. From there, so went to All Japan. Miss Bob, I love the character. Like Christian was saying, Jay was saying, it was the Japanese loved that. They're you know, very kabuki like, you know what I mean, the mask, and we'd come out with the smoke and do flash paper with the ceremony and all that stuff, you know, and we take each other's mask off, very ritual like. So they liked it. It didn't matter that we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We had a few good tag team moves and I obviously could survive a beating because that's what we were getting over there. Like, because the older guys have done time, right? They've already put 15 and 20 years in the business, and they're like, these guys are wrestled a year or not even two at the tops, and they're coming in. This Bobo wants to put the all Asian straps on them, you know. So man, the heat we had, you know, it was just like it was hard. It was a hard road, but I did two tours with them and my partner. You know, we had a big falling out. We were working a Joe Goodhart show, Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and then I ended up, I got in a fight with him and ended up hurting him real bad. And then, granted, we went separate ways, and he went back for a third tour with All Japan. He took a new partner, and that's when they ended up getting put in the hospital or something. I don't know what happened. Hanson and Spivey just destroyed him. I don't know if you ever seen the video where the one Blackheart gets hit in the head with a chair and the blood looks like tomato sauce coming out through the soda.
Oh man!
You got to Google that.
We got all kinds of Googleplexes.
That's when he was kind of he got hit with the chair with the kind of the hard end of the chair, right, like the side of the chair instead of the.
I don't know. Stan Hansen just bounced the chair off of his head like sideways. Yeah.
And the blood was just squirting out like it was.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's crazy.
Man. That was not me. That was not me then. That was the tour I was not on. I was already gone to. I went to Puerto Rico to became a vampire at that point.
You dodged that silver bullet. Get it?
That's
werewolf. I know. This is going.
You're more of the werewolf. You're more of the wolf type of shapeshifter kind of thing.
Well, see, that was always the thing. We'll get to it. Yeah. I would have been more into the werewolf thing than the vampire thing. But so now you become Vampire Warrior.
Yeah, so I go down, and I actually was I go down there and call myself Lestat, and then Pierre Martel, Richie Martin came down. He goes, what kind of name is that? That's a pussy name for a wrestler. You're a vampire. You're a warrior. You're the vampire warrior, and I like your ass. I'm going to give you a push. I like, okay, thank you, sir. So I was like 275 at the time, then he put the Tuesday belt on me down there. So, but I don't know, maybe that was a junior weight back then. Who knows? All these guys are monsters. But so I was down there as a vampire warrior, and then doing that stuff, and then ended up also going back to Japan as a black card for like IWA. So I did like 18 tours, like with IWA, Wings type, the small company off and on. Yep. I'd go to Korea. So I would do like a 3-week tour, Japan, go to Korea 2 weeks, come back, do another 3 weeks as a different character, either the Black Heart or the Vampire Warrior. So I rotated in and out. So I was doing good with that. And then so from there, I drifted over in 93 and went to Memphis and was, I guess I didn't realize I had heat with everybody but Lawler.
That's all that matters.
Even, Scotty Tuhati, the nicest guy in the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotty, the nicest guy in the world. His car's blowed up on the side of the road. I pull over to the side, and then they go, "Hey, dude, you want to ride?" And he's like, "No." Wow. I go, your car's like smoking over there. He goes, "No, man, no, I'm good." I said, "Get in here, man." So he gets in, and we start riding, and he goes, "Man, I got to tell you something." I go, "What?" He says, "You're killing everybody. You're beating the piss out of everybody." Because I went from Stampede. And they didn't say crap. I had Big Taste of Sake and trying to kick my head off and be a Con Express at the time. And then from there I went to All Japan, and I was just fighting for my life. And then I went to Puerto Rico. They didn't tell me any different. So I was down there.
So you're just street fighting. You're still in the streets of South Florida.
Yeah. So when I landed in Memphis, the land of actual workers, that Memphis style, I was just battering them. I couldn't figure out why the first 2 months Jeff Jarrett would only let me hold the headlock in a match. The only guy that let me go full bore every time I worked him was Lawler, man. He was a beast. That guy, man, he just never said a word, man. And to this day, he's still the nicest guy to me. But when I rode with Scotty, I went, "Oh, I was actually trained right." So, the next week I just went out there and started working. Next thing you know, I had the USWA strap, this and that, and everything was fine. I just was brainwashed. I didn't even get it. I was on kill mode. I didn't.
So it was Scotty that smartened you up.
Yeah, because he said he did a run in my very first day in, and I gave him a big palm slap in the middle of his fat and threw him to about the third row. He thought he was in there with Scott Norton on a bad day, I guess.
Wow, I'm learning all kinds of stuff here.
Really super buddies.
Well, everybody's buddies with Scotty, so yeah, if you got heat with Scotty, you're doing something wrong.
He didn't like that back chop. But nobody would tell me. No, why wouldn't they just come say, "Hey, you're killing everybody"?
They're probably scared to death because you beat the shit out of them. You kind of look the way you do, Dave. So
got that Valentine cranky puss look in the corner.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it too because we'll talk about the house shows with the Hardys and yeah. So anyway, so you're Memphis. Where do you go from there?
So Memphis, where do I go? So I'm still popping in and out of Japan. Still doing Japan stuff. Constantly did Japan stuff all the way up to WWE time. I'd like the last so. So from Memphis, it was just I was doing tours like Singapore, Malaysia. That's how I knew all the older workers. And this whole time too, as I was doing Memphis, I was still working for WWE. I was still doing jobs as the Black Phantom under a mask and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. So I was still doing enhancer matches. So like at some point, like 95, 96, they were always flying me in. I would just sit and drill and give people tryout matches. I just I did. I had it easy, man. Life was good. And then I floated over. I was still doing Japan stuff. Then I floated over and did some ECW stuff. And then ECW. And then I ended up in the dojo. And then went back to All Japan. And they hired me while I was on a tour for All Japan when Baba and them offered me a year contract to tag with Bobby Duncan. Johnny Ace was playing both sides. And he was like, they got a contract waiting, which they really didn't. I don't know if you remember, it was like some developmental crap, and then they told me they were going to leave me home for a year, and I was like super hot about it because I really love Japan. Japan was easy. You only had to say sorry once if you meant it. You just got on the bus and went to war. You went to war.
If you meant it, I love that. If you meant it.
Right, yeah, it's one good sorry. I mean, I'm sorry, dude. That was it. And, oh, get away. Whoa, vampire stiff, you know. I remember when I went back to all Japan, like, I didn't even know, like, Masawa and Kawada and them could even speak English, you know. I go back there and I lost all this weight. I had like a couple abs, not quite a 8-pack or 6-pack or anything like that, but I had a couple abs, and they went, oh, no more fat boy. I went, what? and then their next words were, oh, Okama champion, which, you know, is like gay, like Okama, right? I think it's gay, like because I got in that shoot fight with a karate guy, so they heard about that, so they're like, oh, come train with us, Davidson. Like that. Now they were like my best buddies. I beat a karate guy up. I lost weight. I wasn't fat anymore. Now they're like, I'm working semi-mains with them every night, and they're giving me all kinds of stuff, you know. But I guess you have to really earn.
Hold on.
You have to earn your spot, right?
Hold on a second. You beat up a karate guy? What's? Let's not brush over that. Hold on. What are you talking about?
All right, let's rewind the time capsule. So somewhere in between. I don't know. MVP said he just saw 305. He said, I thought you were full of crap, so I saw the video. Bushwhacker Luke said the same thing, but there was Victor Quinones, rest in peace, right?
Yes.
Yes, Victor. So Victor, I was working in Puerto Rico, and I was working IWA. He had part of that IWA office with this other guy, Osano, who, you know, they were gay and stuff, whatever. I don't care. But so one night I'm out with Victor on tour there in Japan, you know. And I used to abuse things, you know. I was drinking a lot of beer and eating a lot of halcyon or whatever. I was just sitting there, and it was free, so I'm just sitting there drinking. And you know, Victor would say to me, he'd look over and he'd go, "Oh, vampire, I bet Luna really likes that curly hair." And I'm like, "What?" like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know, but I'm in another world. I'm just like, hey, it's free beer, man. I'm just drinking, you know. I'm like. Christian can't count you. He's seen me drink. Jay knows that. I drink when I used. But for the record, I'm good now, man. I got a coffee in my hand where I would have usually had a beer.
Let's not talk about Italy just yet.
Oh man, now you got me on sidetrack. But bam, hair. Yeah, Victor's like, yeah, he really liked the hair, and he was like, I thought he was having a spasm because he was like turning his head, and his eye was twitching. And his mouth was wide open, and I'm like, what is it? But it turns out he was winking at me. I didn't realize that. So,
okay.
So all night he's doing this, and I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? You know, and I'm with like Miguelito Perez, Doug Gilbert, and a couple other guys. I forget who else was there. And so we go back to the hotel, and you know, this was like the third weekend or at the end of the second weekend of tour. So like. My hotel room is like a Chinese laundry. I got underwear hanging out there drying that I washed in the sink, you know. So I'm like commando in my Zubaz that night. So I'm getting the elevator and I'm pushing the button, and he just reaches over like man, I don't know how he had perfect aiming, but his finger penetrated my butthole, pushed the Zubaz right up in my like thing. I spun around and grabbed him by the throat with whoa, and I looked at him. I was getting ready to hit him. I remember like Miguelito and him go, amigo, he's drunk. But then I started laughing. I went, oh, shit, this guy's been flirting with me all night. That's what he was doing. He was winking at me, the hair. And I started laughing. I thought everything was fine, right? I was like, whatever. All right, it's cool, man. Just yeah, whatever. Let me get out of here. Let me go take a shower because I just feel violated, you know? So, you know, he sends up all these gimmick phone cards, you know, trying to make peace, you know, which I wasn't mad. I truly, like, thought, well, maybe I'd let him on. I didn't realize he was flirting with me all night, but whatever. We're cool. So, and on this particular tour, they had me going over every night, like strong. So I'd beat like Leatherface in like 5 minutes. Freddy Krueger, you know, they had the monsters, the gimmicks and stuff, right? So it was a vampire thing, and I was like, oh, this is cool, man. I'm getting a push here, whatever. So, so I was riding it out. So the next night, you know, usually Victor would come up and give me the finish and everything. And Miguelito comes, amigo, you make job tonight. Okay, I was surprised I was going over anyway. I wore more heels out than toes in my boots, I can tell you that. But he says, you make job tonight. I go, okay. He goes, no problem. I go, no, it's cool. Then he goes, you make job to that guy. And he points over at the ring, and there's this dude just setting the ring up. He's got like gapped marks, all these cuts all over him from like. And I'm like, I've seen the guy there, but I've never seen him wrestle. He didn't even speak English. He's a Spanish guy they bring around, so I think he was like somebody's little like backup boy toy when they couldn't get a vampire in bed. So so he's there, and I go, can he wrestle? And he goes, is there a problem? And I go, no. Can he wrestle? And he goes, is there a problem? I go, no, whatever, man, whatever you want. Yeah. How long? And he goes, 15 minutes. And I go, oh, come on, man. 15 minutes? You can't tell me if you can wrestle or not? Like, yeah. And he goes, is there a problem? And I go, no, whatever. So I get in there. The guy didn't speak any English. He was a Spanish guy, and we're in Japan. And unfortunately, I ended up beating the guy up for 14 minutes. So, like 13, 14 minutes, I literally pick him up. And I said, hit me. He didn't understand. I said, peg him. So he swung at me. I don't even know if he made contact, but I did like, remember how you fall in the pool, like the old Nestea plunge? I just did the big dive. I just dropped back. Now, this is a sold-out building. I can't remember what town it was. It was sold out. You could have heard crickets going off. Because wrestling was still quite, this was like 94, 95. So it was still like, just to see you take a bump and fall back for this guy that people didn't know, that the whole building was quiet. He pins me, 1, 2, 3, and I rolled to the back, and it was Ricky Leatherface, Ricky Tex, Cowboy.
Yep.
Patterson out of Manitoba, wherever he's from over there. He's like, whoa, what are you going to do there? He just killed the town. I'm like, well, I either prove the point, they're going to leave me alone, or I'm getting sent home tomorrow. Whatever it is, I got to deal with it. This is the decision I made. The next day came along, and it was like me back up again, like, back up. So, I go, well, I guess I made my point. You know what I mean? I wrote it out. I thought everything was cool. So then here comes the karate guy gimmick here. So the last night of that particular tour, I'm going to Korea 2 days later, but this is the last night of tour. It's in Corrigan Hall. And they have like this chalkboard up in there, and they never put their matches up yet. And then you're getting kind of antsy. It's Corrigan. You want to have a good match, even though you're a gimmick company with monsters or whatever. You still like, whatever. I'm going to get barbed wire, go through table, whatever the hell, whatever it was for that agenda. But they finally put the matches up like an hour before the doors open, and it said karate versus wrestling. I go, first of all, what wrestlers on this tour? Wrestlers. They're all gimmicks. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they could wrestle at one point, but we're all making money as a character here, and then it's versus karate. It's like karate. I'm a karate guy, and then everybody's names are filled in. It was me, like, opening match. I was like, what the hell? So, I go out and try to scout the situation out. I can't remember if it was a Winger or a Raya. I don't know if you remember him from back in the day. He's like one of the young guys over there. And I said, hey, is this the guy? He says, well, yeah, Davison. I said, maybe go ask him if he wants to, we'll come out, maybe catch you with a kick right out the gate. I'll get up on the ropes on 9. He'll come at me. Maybe I'll catch a submission, Oh, very good idea. He runs over to him, and I'm standing in the ring, and I'm looking, and there's like a group of them, like the entourage. He's talking to him, and then I just hear this like laugh, like It was like something like Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson laughing like Spider. Like I saw a cigar smoke ring going up there, and I went, well, that didn't sound good. And he comes back, keeps his back to them, and he goes, Davison, maybe danger. Take care, bye.
Maybe danger.
And he leaves fast, like he's not smarting me up, but like he was like trying to give me the office. I'm like, what the hell, So I'm sitting there, and then I go back and I consult, the guy I was rooming with a lot at the time, and that was Ricky Tex. I got along better with Canadians than I did Americans. I don't know why.
Go figure.
Go figure. I mean, WWE thought I was Canadian when they hired me. So I go to him and I go, man, this is what just happened. He goes, oh, sounds like a shooting Corey. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He goes, yeah, this is nothing good. This isn't good at all. He goes, your first match too. He says, you'll know when you get out there, look at the wall, then you'll see everybody standing out there. So I come out. I'm first. I come out when the music's on, and it wasn't uncommon not to call anything. I've worked with people all the time. We never called stuff. Like, we just called it in the ring. So, but I don't know what this guy was going to do. So I look back out, and like every foreigners on the wall that was flown in. So I go, oh, okay, he's right. So this guy's music hit, and it was like I thought I was watching like a Showtime boxing pay-per-view. He had a whole entourage. Oh, wow! The people were clapping, and he was some big name, like some karate guy, like legit dude, like known, like a real legit guy. So they bring him in, and I look, and he gets, I get like 5 streamers, he got like 5,000 streamers. You know, I was like, wow, this isn't good. You know, he's got like his whole entourage, his sensei and everything. He had these dojos and everything. He was like a legit karate competitor. Like somebody said he medaled in the Olympics, but I don't know if that's true or not. But all I know is he's like 6'3", 6'4", and I didn't know what to do. So if you could picture me, I'm standing in my corner looking across at this guy. And I don't know if you remember those old-fashioned cuckoo clocks where the person just walks back and forth in front of the clock. Yeah. So I'm in my corner doing that, going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I look over and I see every Japanese boy lined up on the wall. I go, yeah, this is legit. Like, I don't know. So I had a million thoughts in my head, but I wasn't going to run. What are you going to do? So the bell, you know, it rings, and the guy, he just comes walking out. You know, it pretty much looked like slow motion. And I don't know why, for the life of me, like, I have no clue to why I tried to tie up with the guy. I tried to link up with him. And then as I go to reach out, I see him coming with a kick. And, you know, and what a lot of people didn't realize is I trained with, like, Masala. I can't always say his name wrong, but it was called Gotch's son-in-law. So I trained for, like, you know, submission wrestling and stuff way back before I ever went to Calgary. I had a choice to go to UWF or Calgary, and I went to Calgary with the guy who went. I forgot to tell you that. But I trained for that. So I was used to getting shit kicked out of me. So I see the kick coming, and I'm like, I try to get my foot up off the ground before it hits, so like, you know, it wouldn't, like, you know, go with the kick. And man, just like, it sounded like a 2x4 brick, and he kicked me so hard, so I dropped right to that knee. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker.
And I know the look on your face too, because I've seen it plenty. Oh, and those eyes bugged out.
I'm looking at him, but he's so fast. I'm looking at him, and I can see like the sweat dripping off him and everything. That's slow, you know. And here he comes with another one, and I try to get my elbow like down across my ribs, but he was so fast. He popped that kick right in under my ribs, and like now I'm seriously questioning. I'm going down. Like, I'm going, oh man, because I'm on a knee and an elbow. And now Ricky told me the rest of this. The rest of the story was told. They said the next kick, and I remember watching all the way up to the kick coming. I knew he's coming for my head, and I was trying to get my hand up, and then that's all I remember. They said it looked like they took a shotgun and put it under my chin and just pumped it and just pulled the trigger. They said I came up off my knees, I blew into the buckle, and before my elbows even passed the top rope drop, they said I turned purple, grew 3 sizes, and came out and knocked him unconscious. knocked him cold, and then proceeded to pick up, put him on my shoulders, run, and try to break his neck into the mat. Then he's laying there. I guess he's unconscious, laying there, and then I lay on top of him, hook a reverse drag a sleeper, and I bridge back as far as I can, trying to snap his spine. I guess I went in kill mode, and then they said everybody was coming in and prying my hands off, trying to get me off of them. And then the next thing I remember, I was in the back, and they had a light in my eyes. Yeah. And then
how were you gonna skip by this story, man?
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And then I was like, Ricky's going, oh yes, the white man prevailed over the yellow man for once. Yes.
Jesus.
Because they were always
says the Spanish guy.
yeah, but the karate guy was like, so, but yeah, so like so I you know, they send my money. I was worried I was gonna get paid. I get paid, and like 2 days later, I get on the plane. I go to Korea, and they treat me like some kind of god. The mafia was backer of the company. Picked me up every night. I didn't even have to go to the arena until like an hour before the match. I'd roll in and work their top guy and just put him over, like, because I had so much street credit beating that guy up. So they treated like so, and then that carried over back to when I went back to All Japan. So that's why they call me the Okama champion, because I beat the karate guy and all. So it gave me street credit all the way through All Japan, and like it made life so much easier over there. And the weird thing is as much as I love Japan, I've never been back since '98, since the WWE hired me, and I truly love Japan. I'd actually make an effort to get back in shape to do another run there.
Well, I tell you what, if anybody's listening, here we go. We don't usually plug on this thing. I'm plugging now. Let's get Gangrel. Let's get the Vampire Warrior. Let's get Dave Heath back over to Japan, folks. Somebody's listening. It's going to happen now. What we do on the show is we rocket strap certain things. We're going to rocket strap you straight back to Japan. That's what we're going to do.
Right. And you know what? The funny thing is when I first was talked about you, they told me, hey, watch out for this guy. We're strapping a rocket to his ass. He's going to stop.
Okay, now we got to get to that. When does it get to WWF at this point? Like,
All right, so I was always working for him, flying in and out, and I was doing ECW and that, and then WWF made me make a choice because ECW I would do weekends, but they started wanting to fly us in on a Monday or actually a Saturday night to save money, so I had to miss booking. So I ended up staying with ECW, and then, of course, Paulie, whatever, he didn't like me, and then I ended up like this, whatever, like terrorizing everybody there. So I figured I was done. I figured I was not going back to WWF. I burnt the bridge, like whatever. So, and I was ECW was done, whatever. So I was out in California with Luna. She was working house shows out there, and I happened to come back in across from Tijuana, half crocked out of my mind. I've been over there partying all day, and I show up at the building, and they're like, "Hey, you got your gear?" I go, I always have my gear. Why? like,
go to the road, man.
Yeah. He goes, "Hi, Christopher missed his plane, or his plane's late. We need somebody to go in there work Taka. Can you work Taka?" I go, yeah. I've seen Taka before. I go work Taka. Yeah, please. And so, I'm literally like, now I'm in shape, right? So I'm in real good shape. All I wore was trunks, and I didn't even wear knee pads at the time. I just wore trunks and boots. So I put the trunks on. I'm lacing the boot, signing their paperwork. Taka's like, "Oh, Davidson, black card." Yes. I go, hey, Taka, okay, deja vu out there. Yeah, it's okay. Go. I said, maybe I'm going to go for a suplex or not to hook the arm and come back down into a DDT thing. He goes, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Trust me." He goes, "Okay, Davis, I'm black cards." Okay, yeah. So, Taka, very instrumental in this because, he let me do this. So it's in the Anaheim, and Vince didn't make a lot of house shows, but this was a house show at Anaheim, but he made the Anaheim ones a lot for some reason. So we were at the pond, and I'm out there, and somebody said Vince walked by at the right time. Taka let me catch him with the Impaler DDT.
Yeah.
So I hit him with that DDT, and the place was quiet because they didn't know who the hell I was. And then when I hit him with that DDT, they all popped, and they said, Vince turned to look and said, "Who's in the ring?" And they go, "David." He goes, "David." "Oh, David." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Send him to the camp." A week later, they're telling me I was going to the camp or something to do their camp, and then I did the camp for 2 weeks. In the camp, they asked me who to hire. They'd be like, "What do you think, Test, Andrew, whatever." I go,
yeah.
"Oh, he's cool." And Trash Holly, they'd ask me about it. I go, "Yeah." So all these people they hired out of that camp I was in, they asked about. They never asked me about myself or anything. They never asked me to hire me. Maybe they wanted me to say, "No, F them, hire me." Maybe I should have pulled a Christian move on them. What do you want to say? Hire me. What more do you need? You got me right here. I should have got a book. If I'd have known Jay at the time, I probably would have took that lesson from him. Just speak up, just
squeaky wheel.
Yeah,
squeaky
wheel, man. Always got the oil. He didn't give a shit, man. That's one thing I always respect for. He stood up for what he believed in, man. He wrote it out, thick or thin, whatever it was, And people don't do that. People don't have that honor and guts or balls anymore in life, but you do. So, man,
it's funny. It's funny too that all these years later, that was your nickname for me when we rode together. You just called me Squeaky because I was a squeaky wheel, and you still, whenever we see each other, which is a couple times a year, you usually just say, "Hey, Squeaky." You still call me that, which is super funny.
Meanwhile, you're probably just spitting on me when I'm not looking at you.
No, man. I love you.
Ditto, man. I love you guys too. I love both of you. And where was I at? So I did the dojo and everything, and then they didn't ask me nothing. I mean, I came in on my lunch break and gave Dan Severn a tryout with Eric Watts. And, they'd come in and they'd ask me about these people, my opinion, and everything like that. I felt like I was in the office, but they never once asked me about myself ever. And then I left, and I went home for 2 days, and I was going to all Japan, and then I went over there, and like I told you, they took me in and were really nice to me, and they told me I'd only be working opening or second match of the nights, and somebody missed their flight that night, coming in on the first day of the tour, and I ended up working semi-main, and I never left main or semi-main that whole 98 tour in all Japan. They kept me in there, and then halfway through it, they offered me a job to tag with Bobby Duncan, and that's when Johnny said, Bruce and them said they had a contract waiting on me. So and then Luna, I really was wanted to stay with Japan because I was super marked, still am for Japan. I love Japan stuff. And Luna was like, "No, man, you got to be on the road with me." And I'm like, "Oh God, no, I love you so much, but I don't think I really want to be on the road with you." I remember times, there was one time she was traveling with Dustin, and I was just doing TVs, and they said, "I'll ride with us." And I literally got out and went and rented my own car. I couldn't take them, either one of them at the time.
At the time, right?
They were both bipolar, or they were off the charts for me. I'm like, I can't take it. I swear you two are married, not us. I can't do this. But But I ended up going the WWF route, and then slowly, I think, I met you on a show, right, at somewhere, and you were coming in. You had already signed or something, maybe? I chipped your tooth or something?
Did you?
It was somewhere in New England area. I don't know. At least you made me think I chipped your tooth. Maybe I did. I mean, I was a potato artist at times.
I mean, I got big teeth. So there's between you being a potato artist and me having big teeth, there's a distinct possibility. But yeah, well, because I had signed in '97, and then they kind of got me going, and they got me going in '98, and then kind of the next thing I remember is we're feuding.
Yeah, you already signed, and I know. I was on a show. They had me on a show. I think I was already signed, and I was just doing a commitment or something. But you were on a show, too. And you were already signed. So you still did indies after you signed, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right. Because I was on a show with you. Yeah, I remember you already signed. And then, it was just kind of a blur. And the next thing you know, they told me I'd be home for a year, not doing anything. I was home for only a week. And Vince McMahon told me himself, I'll never use the vampire character. Get rid of the fangs. Because, I was an idiot. I had fangs bonded in. That's probably why they only let me be the Black Phantom, because I had fangs. They're like, this guy's an idiot, right? he bombs really good. He takes a good job. This guy's a maniac. He might, cover his head. Let him wear them. Let him wear them. Like the only mask jobber out there, And he said, never, make sure you trim down, grow the hair, and he definitely would give you a job, but, just not a vampire. And then, and they did. And then I was home a week, sitting home, and then Vince Russo called up. I don't know if that's when he got that creative control thing, that brief 30 days or whatever it was. I'm real fuzzy on that kind of stuff. And he says, hey, you still do the vampire thing? I said, are you kidding me? I just got it. But on a Friday night, I got everything ready for that Sunday debut against all people, my amigo, Scotty Too Hottie.
Again, he comes back into the story.
Oh, Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty, which I feel bad again because it's my first time in, and I hadn't watched Scotty's. I didn't know a thing, so I had no idea he did a worm. So he went to go to do the worm, and I just cut him off and gave him the tail. But he didn't hold it against me because we were really good friends by this point.
Yeah. And he knew what he was dealing with. He's dealing with half woodcutter, half pit bull, so he's okay with it.
He's like, just thank God I survived this first night in. This guy.
wood chipper, more wood chipper, not a woodcutter. Sorry, I channeled Jay's wife there saying woodcutter. Hey, Birdman.
Yep.
Yeah, you flapping your wings over there. I want to tell you about Full Sail University's Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. Legendary you see legendary sportscaster Dan Patrick. You know him. You know him from the Dan Patrick Show, from Sunday Night Football, the Olympics, and Sports Center. He's teamed up with Full Sail University to offer an accelerated bachelor's degree in sportscasting.
Wow, that's huge. Full Sail University combines hands-on learning, immersive projects, and faculty with real-world experience to prepare students for life in the media industry. And for the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, they brought in some of sports media's best to be part of this program. Longtime ESPN producer and multi-time Emmy winner Gus Ramsey is heading up the program. We know Gus. We know him really well. He was on the ENC show.
Gus the Bus.
Yeah. Well, sportscasting pros such as Sage Steele, Jay Harris, Bill Simmons, and many more, they're all involved.
Students will learn sportscasting inside and out, on camera, behind the camera, podcasting, and you can definitely do it better than us, radio, interviewing, and everything in between. At Full Sail University's Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, you can earn a bachelor's degree in about half the time, as short as 20 months. And you can choose to earn your degree online or on Full Sail's campus in Orlando, Florida.
To learn more about Full Sail University's Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, go to fullsail.edu/awesomeness.
So now you're with WWF. You're now Gangrel. How does that all come about? Is it through Russo? You're having that conversation, and then we'll get into us and the Brood and all that.
There was kind of a thing with the name too, right? Like Gangrel is more of the name of I think you said
is in the White Wolf.
Yeah,
right?
White Wolf, right? So I gave this whole since since '91, honestly. And Bruce Pritchard will tell you this, and anybody that's been around, I've been trying to do that vampire thing. I got hired in Memphis because I had a tryout WWE doing the vampire thing, and they were like, "Get the hell out of here!" And but Jerry Lawler came up and said, "Hey man, you want to come to Memphis? I love that. You know, Lawler loved monsters and stuff, right? He was a little bit ahead. You know, he liked monsters and comic book kind of stuff. So the whole time I've been trying to push this thing. I kept telling him, man, like, dude, vampires aren't going anywhere. You just got to be cool. And then, like, I was really big on the group because I said, you know, 'cause the Lost Boys, I came up with it through the Lost Boys, and I said, man, they don't even got to win. It's got to be cool. They get their asses kicked. I'm telling you, people will like them. I mean, they're like, no. I don't know. I'm going, man, I'm telling you, nobody hates a vampire. I never heard anybody say I hate vampires. Except for like I never heard anybody go, oh, this is a vampire, damn it, I hate him. The girls usually go, oh, vampire. Oh. Or a little kid, you know, like I never really heard anybody heal on vampires besides Vince McMahon. He didn't like it, but he's really. But you know, I just kept giving him research through all these years, and then you know, and then at that time when I was in the camp and stuff too, like I brung up, I said, look, it's such an underground thing. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, role playing. You know, I gave him this stuff from White Wolf Masquerade, I was just showing him that there was a community, you know, out there that, like, you know, this isn't going to go anywhere. Like vampire movies, you know, they're coming and they're, you know, they're not, you know, people don't like hate on vampires. It'll be cool. And they're like, no, we don't get it. And then eventually Vince Russo was like, oh, I kind of get it. And then he pushed it, and then it clicked in Bruce Pritchard's head. Oh, I get what you're saying, because, you know, they were looking at this stuff. And when it comes to the name thing, I guess they had decided on a Friday that they were going to do this, and that they needed a name. But, like, Vince McMahon looked down, and he saw Gangrel in the research stuff. He goes, oh, there you go. Yeah, I like that name, Gangrel. So,
not knowing that it was going to be a copyright thing, not knowing that it was part of a game. I guess being at a weekend, and they didn't send it. The lawyers overlooked it and didn't research it. So when it aired on that Monday, that bam, they got hit with all that the thing saying, hey, they had to lease the name and they owed them so many millions of dollars and this and this and that. So they ended up doing a five-year deal or something where they leased the name and had to advertise this and this and that. So I had heat from day one. First of all, he told me never use a vampire. Then Vince Russo got creative control, brung it in. Then the name friggin' gimmick came in there. Right? So, like, but and you know, and you know, this funny thing now is because I came back and did that Raw anniversary over the name. I did that battle, that 15-man, whatever, where I took a shitty bump for Al Snow from his head because I didn't know. I don't know, whatever. It was terrible. But the company that White Wolf sold to tried to sue Vince for like $5 million and then went to court. And then and they actually they filed papers against me because I was wrestling and doing some stuff with Gangrel. And when it came back in, the judge slammed the gavel and said, listen, the guy that's been wrestling as this idiot for whatever amount of times, that's Gangrel. This case is dismissed. Get out of here. So I had the character name now, but now I had, like, I don't know, WWE, when that happened, they changed everything to David Heath, formerly Gangrel. I don't know if you see all that in the encyclopedias and stuff like that. Really?
So they put so it says David Heath. And you know, remember I did the ENC show, you told me it was held up in legal so long because of the Gangrel name.
Oh, okay.
Right? Remember, because I called you, you said, hey, you coming in? I go, hey, I haven't heard from you. You go, man, it's just been stuck in legal.
That's
I'm waiting
right.
to get back to legal.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So what has happened since then is since I opened the wrestling school, Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum, I had to plug that there. But
plug, man. We never plug. Somebody plug, damn it. Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum. Okay. We'll plug it at the end, too.
Okay, yeah. So I opened the school, and my business partner was like, hey, man, I got a good trademark lawyer. Why don't we just look into, like, getting everything and do it right so nothing comes back and period, this and that. So over, like, a couple $1,000 in a $100 mistake that White Wolf and the other company made, I have, like, the full rights now. So all I got to do now is just sign a piece of paper over to the guys and say you can use the name. Now I have the marketing for food, apparel, sports entertainment, everything. I have the license and everything for the name. I have full control of that whole name for action figures, anything I want to do with it. So I got it now. Within the last 5 months, this has all happened. Like I've acquired that. So, like, some days I sit there and go, well, man, I should probably go try to talk to them. This is like money on the table for everybody, because they've come at me and said, hey, you know, they've overlooked some stuff with that Brood faction stuff and this and this and that. I'm like, no, I'm not going that route. but you know, it'd be nice if I could, you know, do some stuff here and there with them. But they because of the name, they don't know. So, you know, but we'll see what happens. You know, because I have it now. It's like it's outright, you know, my company's name. So it's good. So I have the name. But that's the deal with the name, though. That was the whole deal.
Okay. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So if you go, since we are now rocket strapping you to Japan, you can go over to Japan as Gangrel.
You can go anywhere as Gangrel. I can make action figures as Gangrel. Nothing can come at me. Do anything I want.
Wow. Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but before it was all weird, and that's why they would say David Heath, formerly Gangrel. They changed everything. But now all I got to do is sign a piece of paper to anybody that wants to use it. I can endorse it over and say, hey, whatever deal we make, here you go. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. So, all right. So we'll talk about Gangrel's Asylum.
Not that it's worth anything. I don't know.
I bet you it is. I bet you because I bet you some Gangrel action figures would. I think they'd sell.
Oh man!
I have hot sauce already. I got a hot sauce. They have an energy drink. They're coming out with energy powder, like the B complex one, kind of mild. Getting ready to come out with another energy drink, banging and banging. Coming out with Vamp Amp, which is like a 5-hour.
It's got to come in like the little chalice that you used to drink out of.
With the viscous fluid.
Yeah.
When we get off the phone, I'll send you pictures of it.
Yeah.
So how about that? They never say that with the well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but so so you debut now. You're Gangrel. You got the look and everything like that, and you figured it would be a week later you're on TV, and then the next thing you know, you and I are attached at the hip and
so
about to have. Yeah.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
Adam knocked out his first opponent.
In
his match. Yeah. And I'm thinking maybe they saw that. Maybe they saw that. And they're like, well, maybe we should pair him up with Dave Heath. Maybe he'll learn not to be so stiff.
He wants to work stiff. Watch this.
Yeah.
We're a match made in heaven or hell, however you want to put it.
Jay, I prefer Squeaky. I prefer Snug. I would. Well, I always said I put a hoofing on people. We always called it a hoofing when I got him.
He's there.
You know what to sell, right? You know what body part I'm working. But everybody I work is still working, though. They're safe. They survive.
Yeah, true. Good point.
So they call me on that Friday. So I go raid a Hot Topics. I literally walk in the mall on Saturday. Just buy out Hot Topics, show up there on a Sunday.
So is that where the puffy shirt came from? Was from that?
Oh man, yeah, that the puffy pirate shirt, yeah. Because they wanted me to cut my hair, and then they told me I had to lose all this weight and everything. The next thing you know, they said, oh well, we want you to wear like a poet shirt and cut your hair like Billy Idol, and I said, you seen the size of my head? Like, I'm not cutting my hair like Billy Idol. I look like Brian Knobs, I ain't trying to look like Brian Knobs. I mean, I go through my periods when I was heavy in life and looked enough like Knobs with hair. I'm not going to cut it and spike it and look like Knobs anymore. No.
It's a nice day for a white wedding.
Right, wedding. With the corral. But, it was better than the riot crap they wanted to stick you with.
Yeah, well, and they wanted me to dress like a poet at one point, too.
And read poems. You would have been Heidenreich. That was Heidenreich's future. You left that for Heidenreich.
Yeah, I left it for him. That and the New Midnight Express. I left those ones behind me.
You probably would have been smart enough just to jump off the podium and say, "What the hell with it? I'm done."
I'll see you back in a couple years, folks.
That's my poetry. I'm out of here. But yeah, so they and they go, oh well, we'll have you work with like Adam, you can call his Edge and this and this, and I go, well, we have a story? No, he's just gonna go come out of the rafters and whatever. You know the deal. Like I tried to figure it out. I think we asked each other, do you know the storyline? Well, we're from some village from back in the past or something. A village, okay? I had no idea. And then so we're feuding and we're having some like good matches, and all I remember is like Kurt Angle later told me, he says, man, Dave, I would sit in the meetings and they would say you never had any offense. I said, Kurt, I had an offense. They took everything away. He told me every house show I did with Adam, we'd work, and every night they'd come back and say, you can't do that no more. The main event got upset with this, or you got to take this out. Nobody's going to take that from you. Or this, and it's like, well, by then I just went back to what I know best, just selling, which kind of ultimately killed me off because no offense. You gotta be aggressive with an offense. That's one thing about Squeaky. That dude will put his offense in. He knows where to put it. And Jay, I'll tell this about you too, man. And I tell people all the time about if I had a company and all the money in the world, I would bring you in just to put matches together. You could put a match in for anybody to get anybody over. Like, I'd want big guys come back in. I like that attitude there. Like everybody was mixed, everybody had a storyline, but you could put a match together with anybody, and you still get your shit over without burying them, but you still get your point across. But still be a match in the end, and nobody would say nothing but that. Oh, that was a really good match.
Thanks, man. Thanks. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know what to say. You've humbled me.
I didn't humble you. I let you carry me. Put them together. It was sound sketchy at first, but by the end of it, and I go back home and watch it on TV, I go, he took care of me. Yeah, Squeaky got his shit in, but he didn't carry me. Because they were going to fire me over the one time. I got so much heat at the General Motors Center. Remember that?
Vancouver, yeah.
Vancouver, because you didn't want to do the job. You're like, why me? Why me? Why me?
No, I don't think
we didn't have a finish. An hour before the pay-per-view, we didn't have a finish.
I don't think that we did. I think we were winning, and I was like, yeah, we won, and I think I was pissed because. Not pissed, but I was like, well, you guys are always getting the pin. What about if I finally get to pin somebody here?
Yeah, but did we change it? You pinned it, right?
Yeah. And then
because but I was like, they were going to can me.
but I was pretty stern about the whole thing. I was like, no, I mean, the whole time we've been together, it's like I've either been the one getting beat or not getting the pin. I think that was probably the start of the Squeaky. I was like, I kind of stood up for it. I'm not going to lie, I did.
Yeah, and I kind of almost got fired for it.
Did you?
Yeah. I got pulled in. I got a lecture. What the hell's going on? And then the other lecturing I got was because Luna came to me, and rest in peace, John Tenta, Golga, that terrible, the oddities thing. And then I went in there, and you guys went in there and got some stuff in on him and all. You stood up for yourselves, but I went in there and was nice to show, Tenta respect and everything, like a good old school boy. And, man, that's another ass. I got called in the office for an hour, reading about, it was because I just didn't, I was too laid back. I just didn't take it when it was my turn to take it, I was just too nice and too laid back, and that was just like my nature.
Well, you were, I think, also there.
When you pissed me off, I'd go get it out.
But I mean, I think with the Brood thing, it was obvious that you were put with us to kind of help us navigate through the locker room, right? Like, hey, these are guys that we think are going to be around for a long time, young guys. Put them with a veteran guy who had a lot of respect from a lot of people who'd been around the block a few times, and also brought that kind of more laid-back demeanor that maybe two young, spry upstarts needed, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, they told me make sure nobody killed you guys or not, but you made it hard, Jake. You made it really hard. You made it really, really hard. When you just got to finish the fifth time to Ron and Bradshaw, and they both go, they give you the same finish again, and you go, no, I don't understand. You go, no. I'm looking at Adam like, hey, guys, these guys are going to kill us. Thank God they only killed Jay. They came at you with some crazy-ass blows.
They were actually great to me. What I'm saying is it didn't matter with that. If something didn't make sense to me, I would always try to talk about it and figure out why it didn't make sense. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me.
That's why I always had respect for you. You stood up and you held your ground, and it worked for you. But you ended up squeaky after that. Squeaky,
it wasn't even necessary for me. It was, I always felt like I was working for the match, trying to do the best thing for the match. Like, how are we going to get the best reaction out of what it is we're doing? Let's fucking break it down and figure it out. That's how I looked at it.
Okay, before we go any further, I really have to pee. Okay, let me go pee real quick.
We're gonna pause.
Yerba mate. Hold on, 1 sec.
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, okay. There's silence. I'm just sitting here and go by myself.
You're fucking burying me here, brother.
Who's burying you?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I was a big fan. I mean that about you,
buddy. I know. Yeah. What's how's school going?
Good, man. We got 24 students. I got these. The girls I have are amazing. I got these two twins from Colombia. Dude, they're doing they only been here 6 months. But I started them old school. I got the 2 rings and a 16-foot area pad. So they got to graduate each level. So they go from the pad to the 16-footer. Then they wrestle for 20 minutes without boring me. They learn every basic move they can in there, and then I take them to the 18-footer to learn the ropes. But they learn so fast. They're going to be amazing. But when they're going to college, they got scholarships to go to FSU. So But the world to be theirs, man. And I got a Colombian girl that's really good. The guys are sketchy. They're good. They're training hard. They're basically, right, they're trained hard.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay. All right.
Wow,
I know. All right. So now we're okay. First, you and I have our program, which we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going on. We don't know the story. Neither one of us.
I just know you had the longest walk in history to get to the ring, too.
Oh man, bless Jim Dodson's heart, man. He made that path for me every night. Somebody tweeted me this week and said, "Who is that huge guy that used to get you to the ring?" And it was Jim Dodson.
Jim. Yes, sir. Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
but we're going at it, and for whatever reasons, because I don't know if we're like mad over a woman or girls or family issues. I have no idea what it was.
So. It might have been over Christian, by the way it turns out. It was over Squeaky
when he came out. I mean, maybe I had a brother. I just really wanted another brother.
He did have that interior pec heat at the time. He had that oiled up,
middle
pecs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
but I remember, what one I really remember was San Jose. We worked in San Jose, and we had talked about I wasn't afraid to take stuff from you, and you weren't afraid to take stuff from me, so we were just trying to get noticed. And I remember missing. I've seen it back since. Like, oh my God, that was not a good idea. I missed that dive over the top rope and landed on my face.
It looked really good, though.
It should have. And then the DDT on the floor and the blood over the top and the blood of Gangrel flows through your veins. And I think that's when at least somebody had an idea of what was going to be happening.
Right. And, that was a fun match too. I remember. I don't remember a lot of things. I don't know, years of abuse, chair shots, concussions, or whatever. But I remember that. That was a fun match. It was good.
Yeah, and then as it seemed like we're kind of like, okay, cool, here we are. Now we're going to be attached to the hip here. We're going to be working, and then okay, we're going to bring in Christian or Jay as your brother, Christian, and okay, and still, I just assumed, okay, now I'm going to be feuding both of you, and then the next week they're like, no, you're going to go together and you're the Brood.
Yeah. From my end, I had no clue what was going on because I was at the training camps at the time, and Bruce Pritchard had come up to me and said, "Hey, you're needed at the pay-per-view on Sunday. You're starting." And then I was like, "What am I doing?" He's like, "I don't know." And he walked away with kind of a smile on his face. And then I followed him around for like an hour. I was like, "Please, you have to tell me what I'm doing." And then, he did tell me he didn't fill me in too much, but told me that what I kind of needed to bring with me, which was all I knew at that time, that I was interfering and distracting Adam in his match with Owen, and that's all I knew. That's literally all I knew going up there.
Yeah, all I knew what you thought about everything is, why do I got to wear this white puffy shirt?
Well, I was.
You had heat with that white puffy shirt.
I was pretty shredded at the time. I'm not gonna lie. I was like pretty cut up, and I was like, man, really? Do I like? Look at me.
I was in the best shape of my life.
I was so.
I get in shape, and they made me wear it.
Yeah, I was so depressed that I worked so hard to get so shredded and actually have a 6-pack that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna eat a bunch of chicken quesadilla and just oil the middle of my chest. Give up.
So you went from the you went white puffy to the black puffy, then you went to the mesh, and then you kind of start coming out on your own through the mesh.
Yeah.
So they put us together as the Brood, and I remember, not understanding, having no idea concept of where we're going storyline-wise, but I just thought, okay, right, I don't know if we're vampires, but if we're supposed to be this group, I don't know if we're ever supposed to be vampires. You definitely are, but I'm going to study the culture and try and learn some of this stuff and just have a grasp of it, because like you mentioned earlier, I always looked at us as kind of the Lost Boys, mixed with Blade. And I remember, we had the bloodbath and everything like that. But talk a little bit about what you felt going into that with us and what you thought it could be or what it was. Because I think you knew more than we did.
Well, I was always pushing that whole a group of vampires, the Lost Boys being cool. And I like the different things. Because I don't know if you noticed, all the dudes kind of like me and the really old women, like 50 plus or 40 plus, right? Then, of course, you, Adam, you had all the hot chicks and all the dudes hated you. Because the hot women were cheering for you. Like, they'd be there. Like, so if you would sit there at the ring, you guys would go, yeah, kick Edge's ass when we were wrestling. But then, even though you were a face, but because you just were the pretty, like, the girls liked you. So you had to like 20 to 30 of the hot bracket. And then Jay, I'm sorry, but the 12 to 18-year-olds, like the girls, are just crazy of you. So like between the guys, the old ladies, the young girls, and then the hot lady, I mean, we had the whole market cover, which is what it should be a good group, like the fashion, like even the Freebirds had every category. Everybody liked Buddy Roberts. Nobody had heat with Buddy Roberts because he's an ugly guy, no problem, But Michael Hayes was like out there with the hair and looking flamboyant and pretty. Like the girls liked him, but the boyfriends hated him, and then there's this Terry Gordy was just kind of like whatever, he just beats people up, but no, it's like a group, a collective group, and then I always kept telling them that you get a good group together. I mean, ensemble, they go, we don't really see it. We don't see it. And then they didn't tell me nothing. And then one day they give us a thing, and I said, okay, you go out there. Me and Jay get destroyed by Kane, and you just run out and you like clip his leg or something. And then next thing you know, we just leave off together, and they don't even explain. They go, oh wait, Edge just what, and then we go off, and then we're back tagging. And they never, to me and to my knowledge, ever explained why.
No,
I don't.
They
didn't tell
really
me why.
did.
It's not even in the back. So nor on TV did I think they ever explain it.
And then I think it just became its own cool thing. We morphed into your cool entrance up through the stage with the fire where we almost got burned every night, and because that was that was built for one person, and that was you. And one person with really wide shoulders. So now you try and cram two other people on that thing, and it was not built for it.
I was always worried that you were going to become one with your PVC black jacket or whatever that thing was.
I have a lot of melted PVC jackets. Yep.
Well, the thing is, too, like, that people didn't realize about that elevator, too. Like, the entrance was so cool. And whenever people heard that breathing right at the start of the song, like you knew people like they loved it. They loved the entrance, and they came up. They were loud. But when we got on, when we had to go underneath the stage to get on that elevator to raise it up, if we actually stood on it and stood up, like our heads would be sticking out the top. We had to get in there and like squat down. And then when the music started and they started lifting it, we had to kind of stand up with it accordingly, according to the pace
you had
of it.
To rise
right?
a little bit ahead of it.
Yeah, so like there was times when they were like I would lose feeling in my legs because we'd be like kneeling there for so long. I'm like, would they just start the music already, please? But
or they sent us under the stage so early, and that was the percussion side. So if they were to switch something up, we were on the percussion side. The pyros there, that was a nightmare under there. It's terrorizing. So you're under there sweating and everything. You got the white shirts on, so you come up and just you're already like shirt stuck to you. You're white, the heat of the fire, and then and then some of these matches, sometimes you like to be able to go back and go, did I understand this right? Because the finishes could be a bit long and complex sometimes. You're like, oh, it's too late now. We're under here. I guess it is what it is. And then like Jay said, you're bent over, and if you got any kind of bad knees or knee pads on, you lose the circulation, and you got to rise up. But the rush of the crowd and the entrance kind of always overcame everything. I remember when I first started coming out by myself through the fire, the very first day I crushed my foot in the elevator.
It got stuck, right?
D'Lo Brown goes, you're the only guy I know that made a grizzle walk cool, I limped. He said, you made a limp cool because, I went to shift and my foot got stuck, and then I was in the fire. I remember holding, that was when I was wrestling Scotty, and the flames are coming. I'm going, I'm burning up here. I'm burning up. And then my foot was like black for like a month, but that's how that staggered walk had that little like side to side walk. Because my foot was crushed. I was
like, that looks cool. Keep walking like that. Oh,
but then they'd say, man, you can't be smiling. You're supposed to be mean. I go, I'm not smiling. They go, yes, you are. Every time you get down there, I go. So I'm never trying to hold a mean look coming up through the fire. But then I'd hear the people come, and then. Of course, like it was so cool. You just kind of got, like you said, you got overtaken by all the people coming in and in the entrance. So I'd get up there and I'd start to head down the ramp and trying to look menacing, and I'd just start smiling and swaying.
But you know what? That became part of it, because how many menacing vampires did you see over the years? From Nosferatu on, but you just looked I don't know. It was cool and it was different. It was a different take on it. And I remember, we'd all come to the ring and we'd kind of be bouncing up that elevator together, bobbing with the music, and then come down, slide in behind you, the chalice, the viscous fluid and everything. And I remember thinking, okay, I don't know if this was a plan for anybody's part, but we're somehow taking this and making it really cool. And that was because the three of us all bought in and just went,
we all
okay,
bonded
here we
too,
are.
right? Like, it wasn't like we just showed up at the building and we're like, oh, hey man, what are we doing tonight? Like, we rode together and we traveled together and we ate together. Like, we bonded as friends outside of the ring. And I think
Luna was happy because you were with the two Canadian nerds,
the two boring guys.
She was all good when I rode with you, but when I rode with like Road Dogg and Jared and Bob, and then when I came back and started riding with Benoit and Guerrero, like Eddie and her fought all the time. He says, "Let me talk to Mom." I go, "You don't want to talk to her." Like, no, let me talk. Next thing you know, I hear him fucking in Spanish. He goes, "David, I just can't. That woman." I said, "I told you that." You'll never learn that your Latin temper and that craziness or her lunacy. Rest in peace, all three of them, man.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, crazy. But that was a perfect storm, though. That whole entrance and all that. Like you said, it was an accidental thing, but it was only supposed to be a shuttle, really, for you guys. And then they came to me and said that, Edge, they told me that they were putting a belt on you in the future. They told me that. They clearly told me to decide, hey, we're putting this guy the future champion and all that. They knew. I don't know if you knew.
I had no idea.
You were charted to, and it was like, they made clear for me not to let anything happen. Like, take care of these guys. Make sure nothing happens. Like, make sure just, everything's cool there. And, and I was cool with that station in life. Hell, the Brood thing wasn't supposed to be anything. And what happened is it started gaining momentum, and it like and unstoppable. It's kind of like a wildfire, like it was burning here, and then it jumped here, and it jumped there, and it was starting to get out of control. And I remember talking to you about it. I don't know if you remember. And they go, I said, man, this is coming to an incident. You go, no, it can't come.
Well, the thing is, too, then like, it hit another level too when we started the bloodbaths, right? Like that,
right?
Put another layer there that people are like, oh shit.
Yeah. So, and the lights go out and come on.
Yeah,
and bleeds,
the strobe
everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
See, and that was the crazy thing about it is, like, I wasn't privy to any of that stuff. I truly just thought, okay, this was more your vehicle. That's what I always thought. I was like, okay, he's the centerpiece of this thing. We'll make sure we do our thing and we get noticed and we'll work and we'll make sure we get our shit in and all of that stuff. But I thought it was your vehicle, and that. But I did think that you were also put with us to look after us, to make sure that when we got to wrestle the DOAs and the Midians and the Visceras and the APAs, that it's like, okay, it's not just these two young pretty boys from Toronto. They also got, Dave with them. And Dave adds them the cred that they don't have yet.
A little did you know it was the Job Squad that be our biggest nemesis.
Right?
Just an outlaw and stuff, But yeah, no. It was the thing, but it goes all the way back to, for me, when I took the wrong pill with Luna, I went down the wrong rabbit hole. I saw wrestling for everything it was. Her family ran companies and see things. So I saw this thing. I know that it was just an accidental thing, and it was cool and it was catching fire. And then I said, oh, this isn't going to last long. And then when they said, oh, well, we're going to put you in the ministry, I knew for sure. And I said, this is no good. This is no good. And I can remember the day to a T. I don't remember the building, but I remember the moment. And I think I even said something to you on the stage. I don't know if you remember this or not. When they made the whole ministry come out and line up on the stage, right? And the people were like, ministry sucks, boo. And then the next thing you know, it just started a surge in the building. It was like, Brood, 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 Brood. The whole building chanting Brood. And we're down there on the end of the ministry. And I don't know if you remember this, but I leaned over to you and said, oh, we're done. Yeah, we're done. Why would you say that? We need this. Why are you saying that? I go, because you had a response like that. And I go, no, we're done. And then like 2 weeks later, they go, we don't really necessarily see you in the ministry. We're going to have you feud the ministry. And I go, absolutely done. It's done there. And then shortly after that feud, they came to me and said, David, Vince McMahon himself came to me on this was, you're the Brood. I said, here it is. There's the divorce.
Here it is. Now, so I'll tell you how it happened. I think you remember this, Dave, but at one point, at least this is when Jay and I were told, because I truly assumed, okay, we're not with the ministry because they're trying to be heels, and we're getting this kind of this reaction that isn't heel, and I remember we had our second T-shirt out, and it was coming out that day, and I remember Terry Taylor walking up to us and pointing at me and going babyface, pointing at you, going heel, pointing at Jay, and going, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're like,
his words to me might have been jobber, actually. I don't know.
But I just remember being so confused. I was like, how is this happening now? Like I mean, even though we're wrestling the Job Squad and we're doing all of these like kind of inconsequential matches, to be perfectly honest,
you can't let a wire out of control, man. It gets too big. It consumes everything. This was not your shuttle. This was not your plan. The Brood was not your plan. The Brood, if you would have stayed in it any longer, if we all would have stayed in that faction any longer, you would have just been known the Brood. Think about it. It was only not even a year probably that we had to run together. Seriously. And not even a year. But think about the lasting impact that year did. Imagine if you did 2 years or if you did 3. You would have been married to it for life. And they knew that. They knew they couldn't leave you in that. Like, that's the way I looked at it. I knew that they couldn't leave you in it. They would leave no future for you out of it because it was getting so big, so fast, and so hard. It would have been the Brood. It would have been like, that's it. It's the Brood, like this, and they didn't want you stereotyped into that, stereotyped into that. They would have lost what they wanted for you. You had a whole other, you guys, another level that you were going. It wasn't in this Brood. This thing was just a shuttle to figure out how to get us working and bring us in or to bring you guys in at some point to elevate you to your levels. But because that thing was going so fast and so out of control, you would have been. That's it. Think about the year. If you think about it, you go places. I know me. They go, oh, the Brood. They don't really go like Gangrel, this and that to me. They go, no, the Brood stuff was so awesome. If we would have spent more than a year, if that would have went any longer, there might have been a point to no return, and they might would have lost their long-term.
I never even never even thought about like that.
It goes back to that pill I took with Luna, man.
Seriously, you just kind of blew my mind because there are people still to this day that come up and go, man, the Brood. Like, it's always mentioned. The Brood still in that 9 months that we were together doing that thing, it still resonated to the point where people all these years later. So that's an amazing point.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was sad and upset about it, but I also knew that was a fact.
I was too. Like
that's at the business end. I knew what they were doing. They didn't have to explain it to me. I mean, I could see that. That's I just sit back. I don't get into politics. I don't argue about finishes and that. You notice I'll just sit in the back, whatever. I'll do whatever you want. But at the same time, I'm not naive. I watch, and it's just my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, but like I'm pretty positive. Like that's what the deal was there.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty deep. I didn't even think about that. But what's funny is the like talking about the longevity of it. Yeah, it wasn't even around a year, and like we've touched on earlier, like people still talk to all of us about it this day. Like, I mean, I've done Comic-Cons and had people that run Comic-Cons say to me, like, "Oh, has anybody ever done a Brood reunion at a Comic-Con?" I'm like, "Oh," and like that. People talk to me about that. It just shows you, like, if it had gone on longer, how big would it have gotten? Yeah,
I'll tell you, like, it's funny because like I left when I saw you the last time at that WrestleCon or whatever that was, Jay. And I left on that Sunday, went home. I was doing something else somewhere else, and some guy was able to manage to get your autograph, and he's got Adam's autograph, but they didn't get mine somehow. And then they wrote and they kept this thing to contact me. I said, shame on you, me being last one in line. He goes, I know, man. I'll pay anything to complete this set. I said, man, you should have gotten my line first. There's only 5 people in it. You had to go stand in that 2-hour line with Jay over there. You some bitch. I've been sitting there for 6 hours. You're going to pay for that now. It's a weird thing. And there's another guy. He's like, oh, I didn't get to get this. Like, I guess you guys signed some stuff for him or something. Sean Jacoby. I'm like, dude, you're F now, buddy.
You're the last one.
I got the leverage now. I may be working in front of 300 people in the high school, but I got leverage now on you, brother. You need that sign to complete that. But that's how cool the boot was. It's now like, rare. Like getting all three of our signatures on one thing is too,
I think back to like how much fun we really did have, and how sure there was. I don't really believe in luck. I think you make your own luck, but I think we were given a bunch of tools, and it became this thing because, like I said, we all bought in, and then we all added our own element to the entrances and our own element to the matches themselves because we all work differently. So but I think the singular mentality was when we get heat, attack like a pack of wolves, and now we're back to my werewolf thing. So
shapeshifter.
But but I really am. I'm always thankful for that time in the Brood because I really do think that in hindsight, it did springboard Jay and I to get the confidence to be able to go where we ended up going. But I don't think it happens without that year of you helping us gain that confidence and that credibility in the locker room.
Well, I believe in timing and chemistry, and I believe it was just a perfect storm, right? You helped me, you guys, from youth and energy to where, like, I was somewhat of a, a different style and a different thinking and stuff. And you guys were hungry and go-getter, where Jay would question everything and say, well, why don't you explain this to me why? And then you just like you had your deal, man. You were good. You were down the middle, but you watched everything and you were on point with everything. So you were there. Like you said, let me understand this character. You research stuff. You're in. You're all in. You're either all in or you're all out. You're all in. And then me, I'm too much like, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. But you guys, you did that part. You did that part in that group which helped elevate me, because it was like me, I was just what I did after the Brood. I kind of just drifted off. I got hurt. I didn't get hungry. I didn't pitch ideas. I was friends with Stephanie. I was sitting hanging with her all the time. She goes, hey, maybe you need to change your look. She's always trying to smarten me up, but I was just like, go with the flow, whatever. I'm just grateful to be wrestling. I'd be grateful to be wrestling. And I'm still wrestling today, and I'm grateful. But, if I would have maybe inserted myself in the stuff that I do see and do know, let them know that I know that, or let them see that, maybe they would have looked in a different way. Where you guys, when we were the Brood, you guys both did that in different ways for the group. And so the Brood was very much instrumental for me. I believe the Brood. Everybody says, the Gangrel thing, this and this. I think it's the whole package, the perfect timing, the music, the fire, the three of us. And that's the reason that I don't know how many years have I been off TV, 18, 15 years or something. But I still work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. I'm at the wrestling school, Monday through Thursday, training guys. I'm still doing what I love, and I believe it was for that 1 year. That 1 year is why.
Wow, man. Okay. Now, so you got to plug your school. We got to plug the school, and because I have a feeling we could sit here for about 5 or 6 hours and just do this. So we don't want to keep you all day. I only have a sitter for another half an hour. So,
well, that's awesome.
And Beth's
man.
on the road.
I'm glad to see you finally find some peace and everything. And then Jay, he loved his woman from day one. I remember when he met her and he missed the bus. He didn't care about nothing. He's good. And I'm glad you finally.
He was locked in from day one. Yeah.
Remember that? We're like, what's Jay? Coming? We're like, just leave him. What was it, Lancer or somebody? Like, I'll leave him. Or whatever. He was like, whatever, man. I'll catch the next flight. I got it. I'm on. But what's so cool about that is you're still together, and that's flipping awesome, dude. And that's awesome. And I'm so happy for you, Adam, that you found like some magic in your life, and you got your little girls, and then I see lyric this and that and all that. And you put your posts up and everything, and I may be old grizzled and look cranky sometimes, but sometimes it just warms my heart, and I get like a little tear glistening up there. One single tear, like that in Native American in the litter.
Just one single tear.
But it's a very salty and important tear. But I'm so happy for you too. I just want to say that, man, and proud of you, and happy, and so happy for your success, and it's awesome. Well, yeah, the school is it's called. It's kind of cheesy. The business partner wanted to name Gangrel because nobody cares about any wrestling school. You got to put it on there, so it's on there. It's Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum. So it's GWAFlorida.com. You can go check that out. It's on Facebook there, and it's down in Dania, Florida. So we've been open. I had a soft opening in October, but technically the school didn't open until December. So we've been we're like 5-6 months open, but it's doing really good. I have like 24 students. I'd say 12 are born into it right through the doors, you know. But I trained them from day one-ish there, and then the other 12 that they floated in from other schools and stuff and came in, take the advanced programs. And, you know, I love training. I had some good success. Like, I trained Rusev. I don't know if you remember, you know, Rusev, Miro.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the last one I trained was Vanessa Bourne. She's in like NXT, but like she's still hanging in there. But I don't know if she needs to get more aggressive or something. But I've had some good luck. Blessed with some talent coming through, and I got a lot of talent here. So man, I'm really happy. So it keeps me honest. It keeps me from headbutting people like Michael Hayes in bars. It keeps me like, because I have no time to go get in trouble or tell somebody to tell me, hey, it's my time, so that means it's my time. And I'm like, yes, Michael. Yeah, what? You get smart with me? No, Michael.
And then the headbutt start.
I was so hot at you when we did the ESC show. You turned the story around. I said, hey, put him over. He put me over.
I know.
I was like, whatever. There's that prime example of myself. I lay back and go, man, just take $1,000. Whatever.
Well, and we'll for pure transparency, Dave won the headbutt contest against Michael Hayes,
and it wasn't even close.
You do not want a headbutt with Dave, trust me. And also, I want to say that if you're gonna be trained, listen to everything that this guy has done. From FCW to Calgary to All Japan, all of this experience that you can bring
putting
to
up
the
with
table. Yeah, to putting up with Jay.
Oh,
Although I did put Dave to bed a couple times. I'm just gonna say that.
You did. And that was some of my darker times in life. So, I'll go on the record and say, you know, I wouldn't be on this planet without Jay. There was a time I was in Italy and he was carried away. I was abusing some things and everything, and Jay took me to my room, but he came back in and he rolled me over in my sleep. And when I woke up the next morning, there was a pile of whatever and everything. I would have just drowned in my sleep. You know, it would have been another sad story, like crash or something, you know.
Yeah,
but, so thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Actually,
so thank you for causing me not to choke in my vomit and die.
I actually
the reason I was drinking was because of you that day. But
I actually took your room key and I came in like every 45 minutes to check on you. Actually,
I knew you loved me, man.
Don't tell anybody. I'm actually a nice guy. Don't.
Yeah, but no, man. You both are tremendous. It is like totally awesome, man. You guys are good. And yeah, man. So life's good, man. I can't get in trouble, man. I'm at school. I'm so happy. It's like I got 24 kids now, you know, and so that's keeping me busy. And being on the road on the weekends, I look at life different now, man. I mean, before I was just always like, I'd be caught up in those vicious circles, but man, I enjoy sunrises and sunsets and Adam's post, you know, when he's with his kids. I like the simple things in life are really, really cool now. Things I never stopped to realize. And I still have wrestling. Amazing. So I still have.
It's amazing when you get to a certain point in your life and you realize those things are as important as they are and how you just didn't pay attention to them for a long time.
Man, and it's scary how you outlive all your people was associated with those vicious circles, you know, and, you know, rest in peace, all of them. And I'm still here today, and I'm just very grateful, man. And I just want to get back to wrestling. Like I said, wrestling owes me nothing. I owe wrestling everything. So till I can't give any more, or somebody says, hey, just stop it, old man, I'm going to keep trying to give back to wrestling.
Well, we're going to try and rocket strap you back to Japan. You got the school. You've trained people like Rusev. You helped springboard us to where we can have a damn podcast 25 years later or whatever it is. But seriously, this has been awesome.
We could have sat here for 3 hours and just, maybe we'll have to have a part 2 at some point. But yeah, man, like,
as I said in the think, we didn't really we just touched on bare bone basics. I mean, yeah,
I know. I know this could be like a 3-parter, so we'll come back and revisit more because this is good. It was fun, man. It was great catching up with you. You know we love you, and we'll do it again soon.
All right, awesome, guys, man. Thank you for having me on. Thanks for that rocket strapped to my ass there, thanks for plugging the school, man, and everything. Thank you for you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Love you, buddy. Good to talk to you.
I love you guys. Take care, man. Stay safe out there.
All right,
See
man.
you, buddy. You too.
All right. Bye, buddies. Bye.
Amazing to catch up with Dave.
Yeah. It's funny, too. You almost lose track of like how long that guy's been in the business, right?
Like we talked about 1987, man. Like
crazy. I started high
Guns
school.
N' Roses were just releasing Appetite for Destruction. Like, think about that.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
yeah.
It was a good talk, man. Even he's just a good dude.
And even to his point, almost maybe to his detriment at times, that he's such a nice guy who is an absolute killer if he wanted to be, as evidenced by Karate Guy. But seriously, like, I always knew that Dave was just a really, really nice man, that if you did trigger him, it was going to work out very badly for you. And you very rarely saw it, but I'd see, like, every once in a while him get stiffed in a match, but he'd laugh instead of.
And it would be something like that could knock somebody out, and he'd just start laughing. Like, and that's what he did. It was just him, man. He's just a fucking bowling ball head. Can't hurt him.
And very instrumental, as we talked about, in helping set the course,
obviously,
of where we went.
Yeah, I mean, a huge debt of gratitude to Dave and what he brought to my career, our career. Forever indebted to him for his guidance at the start of our career in WWE, for sure.
Yeah, great catching up with him. Well, like we said, it could be that could be a 3-parter, to be perfectly honest, because we barely scratched the surface, and I know it's hard. Like, you want to get in so much stuff, but you only have so many hours in the day. So hopefully that appeased you hosers until we can get to part 2 and probably part 3 and maybe even part 4 with Gangrel. You can follow him at Gangrel13 on the Twitter. And I'm still getting used to the Instagram thing, so I don't know if he has an Instagram, to be perfectly honest.
I should start using my Instagram.
Yeah. I don't know what to add to that.
Paul Smackett should get himself an Instagram, brother. This is pre-recorded.
I think I found
this was pre-recorded before I even I jumped in the ocean, brother. They want to see pictures of roll-ups. They want to see me rolling up.
Oh, jeez.
He's gone.
There he goes. Well, good, because I wanted to mention that Dave is on Instagram at Gangrel David Heath.
All right.
How about that? Gangrel David Heath. Yes. So, that was a little trip down memory lane this week. Hope you all enjoyed it. Until next week. And, Jay, you're heading to the States, so...
I got it.
Plug yourself.
What if you shut the fuck up? I'm going to Eternal Con in Long Island at the Nassau County Coliseum. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday signing autographs and all that other kind of bullshit. But I'll be there, hanging out for you marks. Just come look at me.
Come look at me.
Hey, looking's free.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wild person. Anyway, okay. Maybe you'll actually take up Mega Matt and hop off your wallet and buy lunch for him.
I always buy that guy stuff. He owes me.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Gotta go.
See ya.
And just
what?
Let's leave with that visual of Gangrel headbutting the shit out of Michael Hayes. Just think about that as we fade away here.
Here we go. Whack, whack, whack.